Hello students, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hope you all are doing well. So in this video we'll do directors chapter. This is part 2 of directors chapter. In part 1 we have already completed section 149 and section 152. So in this video we'll do section 153 onwards. Okay. So let's start with section 153. This is director identification number. DIN. DIN means an identification number allotted by the central government to any individual intending to be appointed as director or to any existing director of a company for the purpose of his identification as a director of a company. DIN is nothing, it is an identification number that gives the identity to any individual, to the director. So this DIN is important for a director, means this DIN is important before appointment. Okay. So DIN means an identification number that is allotted to an individual whose intention is to be appointed as a director. So DIN is a number. Now what is given in second para? It is provided that DIN obtained by individuals prior to the notification of specification of definitions, details, rules shall be the DIN for the purpose of Companies Act 13. Means when notification came regarding specification or definition, details, rules. So if any DIN was allotted prior to this notification, then that DIN will be treated as DIN for the purposes of Companies Act 13. Now further it is noted that DIN shall include the designated partnership identification number, that is DPIN. DIN shall include DPIN issued under section 7 of the Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008 and the rules made thereunder. DPIN is the identification number that is issued under section 7 of LLP Act. So they are saying that DIN includes DPIN. So let's understand this by the example. Example number 7. Mr. Rajesh having DIN this 0045, this thing, and already appointed in Raj Industries Private Limited. Now he wants to appoint himself in Messrs. Karnawat Industries LLP as a designated partner. First he is appointed in private limited company. Now he wants to appoint himself in LLP as designated partner. Here he does not require to apply for DPIN as he was already appointed in private limited company, and that means he was having the DIN. Now he wants to appoint himself in LLP as a designated partner, so he is not required to apply for DPIN. Why? Because as per section 7 of LLP Act, DIN can be used as DPIN for designated partner. Okay, so DIN can be used as DPIN. If you are having DIN and you want to be appointed as a designated partner in LLP, then your DIN can be used as DPIN. You don't have to apply for DPIN separately. Understood? Now requirement of DIN. According to section 152 subsection 3, no person shall be appointed as a director of a company unless he has been allotted the director identification number under section 154 or any other number as may be prescribed under section 153. Means if any person wants to be appointed as a director, he can't be appointed unless he is allotted. Means first he has to apply for DIN by making that procedure is there, that he have to make an application in DIA 3 and so on. So when procedure is there, first he have to get the DIN, then he can be appointed as a director. So he unless he has been allotted DIN or any other number as prescribed under section 153. If in place of DIN he has been allotted any other number that is prescribed under section 153, then also that will be sufficient. Then also that number will be treated as DIN only. So let us understand this more in detail. This was page number 12. Now come to page 13. It's a continuation of the section only. Filing of application for allotment of DIN. Now section 153 deals with filing of application for allotment of DIN. Accordingly, every individual intending to be appointed as director of a company shall make an application for allotment of DIN to the central government in the prescribed form and manner and along with prescribed fees. Means any person, every individual who is intending to be appointed, means if you are your intention is to be to get appointed as a director, if you want to be appointed as a director of a company, what you have to do first? First, you have to make an application for allotment of DIN, and this application is to be made to the central government, and it is to be made in prescribed form along with fees. Okay, suppose Mr. Y wants to appointed as a director. So first he has to make an application in DIR 3 in prescribed form to central government. Prescribed form is DIR 3 only. He has to make an application for prescribed form to central government along with fees, and once he gets the once the DIN is allotted to Mr. X, then he can be appointed as a director. Now there is one specific procedure that we'll discuss in detail. Then it's given, it is provided that central government may prescribe any identification number which shall be treated as DIN. Remember this, we studied over here, DIN or any other number as may prescribe, they are talking about that number. It is provided the central government may prescribe any identification number which shall be treated as DIN, and in case any individual holds or requires such identification number, the requirement of section 153 shall not apply or apply in such manner as may be prescribed. Means if central government, either that person has to possess DIN or any other number that is prescribed. So if that person is holding, or if that person acquires that identification number, that prescribed identification number, then he is not required to obtain DIN. Okay. Now further, Rule 9 of Companies Rules 2014 states a following procedure for making an application for allotment of DIN before appointment in an existing company. Now this is, they are talking about procedure for allotment of DIN. Now we'll discuss in detail how one can obtain DIN. Now let us understand this procedure. Point number 1, filing of application. Every applicant who intends to be appointed as director of an existing company shall make an application electronically in form DIR 3. The form, that prescribed form is DIR 3 that they were talking about, to the central government for allotment of DIN along with prescribed fees. Means any applicant, means every applicant whose intention is to get appointed as a director, that person has to make an application for allotment of DIN in form, which form? DIR 3. Remember this form. This can come in MCQ. You need to remember this, this DIR 3. DIR 3 along with prescribed fees. Okay. So in next paragraph is given, it is provided that in case of proposed director not having DIN, the particulars of maximum 3 directors shall be mentioned in form number INC 32 SPICE, and DIN may be allotted to maximum 3 proposed directors through form INC 32. INC 32, as we all know, it's an incorporation form. If anyone is, you must have done this in office, this incorporation form DIR 3. These all are the regular forms. These are the most common forms. So INC 32 is incorporation form, like for the reservation of name. This form is filed. So this is an incorporation form. So in case of proposed director, suppose a directors are proposed, means these all directors will get appointed in a company, and if that company is a new company, so what can be done in place of DIR 3, the DIN can be allotted through this form. How? Means at the time of incorporation, when the company files INC 32, at that time what they can do, at that time they can give the details of maximum 3 directors in this form itself, in form INC 32. And then what happens, DIN may be, with the incorporation thing, DIN also can be allotted to maximum 3 proposed directors through this form. Okay. So if it's a existing company, then DIN can be allotted to directors to by filing DIR 3. But if it's a new company, then with incorporation form only DIN can be allotted, but to maximum 3 directors. Hope it's clear. DIR 3 and INC 32. Remember this form. Name. Then example 8. Mr. Varun, Mr. Ankit and Mr. Parag are planning to incorporate a private limited company. They do not have DIN because they are becoming directors in any company for the first time. Okay, they are becoming directors for the first time, that's why they don't have DIN. Here they can apply for allotment of DIN along with form incorporation of the company, that is form INC 32. So company is new, company is not existing, and the directors also new, means directors are becoming means individuals are becoming directors for the first time. So in this case DIN can be allotted by filing form INC 32. Okay. Means along with the form of incorporation, DIN can be applied. Means allotment of they can apply for allotment of DIN also. So it's done. Now point number 2. So first point was in procedure. First point was filing of application. We have filed the application DIA 3 or INC 32. Now point number 2, providing of electronic system to facilitate submission of application. Now the central government shall provide an electronic system to facilitate submission of application for the allotment of DIN through the portal on the website of MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Now the form is filled up. We have completed the form DIA 3 and or INC 32. Now what to do with that form? So that form will be submitted on the website of MCA. So procedure, that's why the point they have given, procedure of electronic system to facilitate submission of application. First point was filing of application. Okay, and where the application will be filed, it will be filed to MCA on the website of MCA. Now point 3a, filing of required information in form attached with relevant documents. Now required informations are filed in the form attached with relevant documents. The applicant shall download form DIA 3 from the portal. Okay, now one may ask that from where will get DIA 3, form DIA 3. So it can be downloaded from the MCA portal itself. Once it's downloaded, then fill in the required particulars, sort therein the particulars which are asked for, fill that those particulars, then verify and sign the form. Then form should be verified. If it's once it's verified, that means there is no error, every particulars are filled up, then the form should be signed, and after attaching copies of following documents, scan and file the entire set of documents electronically. So first verify, then sign it, then after that attach the copies of following documents. These are documents 1 2 3, the ones they have asked for. These all documents will be attached, and scan file will be attached, then it will be filed on the website of MCA. Now what are the documents? Documents are photograph, proof of identity, proof of residence, then board resolution proposing appointment as director in an existing company. Obviously director will be appointed through passing of this board resolution. The board resolution copy will be attached in that form. Then specimen signature duly verified. Okay, so these all are the attachments. Now B, point number B, 3b is submission of digitally signed form. Now once everything is done, particulars are filled in, then all the particulars we have filled, then it's verified, it's signed, documents are attached. Now the last step is submission of form. Now form DIA 3 shall be signed and submitted electronically by the applicant using his or her own digital signature certificate. Applicant signature will be required, DSC will be required, and shall be verified digitally by and with that digital signature of company secretary in full-time employment of the company, or by managing director or CEO or CFO of company in which applicant is intending to be appointed as a director in any existing company. So first, how many signatures are required? First, the signature of applicant is must. Then second signature will be of either company secretary or managing director or CEO or CFO. Okay, hope it's clear. Company secretary who is in full-time employment of the company, or managing director or CEO or CFO of the company in which the individual is intended to be appointed as director. Clear? So this is the procedure of point number 4 what they have given. So what is this point? It's in procedure only. First point was filing of application. Second one was providing electronic system to facilitate submission of application. Third was attachments. 3a attachments. 3b digitally submission of digitally signed form. And fourth procedure what they have given. In case the name of a person does not have a last name, then his or her father's or grandfather's surname should be mentioned in the last name along with declaration in form number DIR 3A. Okay, means if that person doesn't have any last name, then the name of father's or grandfather's surname will be used, and for this a declaration will be required in form number DIR 3A. So this was the procedure. Now allotment of DIN. Procedure completed. Now allotment of DIN. Allotment of DIN. According to section 154, the central government shall allot a director identification number DIN to the applicant in the prescribed form within 1 month from the receipt of application. So over here what we have studied, so this one, applicant is required to file the application for DIN. Form number DIR 3 is filed with that necessary attachments, and it is verified, digitally signed, everything is done. After filing this form, what will happen? DIN will be allotted by the central government. The central government shall allot the DIN to the applicant within 1 month. The time period is 1 month from the receipt of application, from the date the application is received by CG. So within 1 month from the date of receipt of application, the DIN will be allotted to the applicant. Now, Rule 10 of Companies Rules 2014 provides the following procedure for rejection or allotment of DIN. Now, in this rule, under Rule 10, what is the procedure that is given for rejection or allotment of DIN? See, first they have given generation of application number. On the submission of DIR 3, this procedure, just now which we studied, point number 3 ABCD, this was the procedure. See, the central government shall provide an application. See this one. Under Rule 9, this procedure was given. Rule 9 of Company Rules state the following procedure for. This was the procedure for application for allotment of DIN. And under Rule 10, you will study the procedure regarding allotment or rejection of DIN. Okay. So point number 1 is generation of application number. On the submission of form DIR 3 on the portal and on payment of requisite fees, an application numbers shall be generated by the system automatically. And so once you submit form DIR 3 on the portal and you pay the required amount of fees, then what will happen? An application number will be generated by the system. Now point number 2, communication of issue of DIN. After generation of application number, what happens? The central government shall process the application received for allotment of DIN. Processing will be done after generation of application number, and decide. Central government will decide either to approve or reject the application, and decide on the approval or rejection thereof, and communicate the same to the applicant along with DIN allotted in case of approval by way of letter by post or electronically or in any other mode within a period of 1 month from the receipt of such application. Now what is written over here? Once you submit form DIR 3 along with fees, an application number will be generated, and once that number is generated, the application will be processed, and if it is approved, means after processing, at the time of processing, central government will decide either to approve or reject the application. And if it is if the application is approved, then what will happen? Central government will communicate the same to the applicant, and central government will it will communicate along with DIN. It will allot the DIN, and in case if it is approved, means when the DIN will be allotted, that will be done by way of letter by post or electronically or in any other mode, and it will be done within 1 month from the receipt of application. Means once you file the application, within 1 month DIN will be allotted. Okay. If it's approved, then it will be allotted. If it's not approved, then that will be intimated in the same period only. Now, in case of defective or incomplete application, what happens? If the central government on examination finds such application to be defective or incomplete in any respect, suppose when you submit the application, when you submit form DIR 3, central government finds it to be defective or incomplete, then what will happen? It shall give intimation of such defect or incompleteness by placing it on the website and by email to the applicant who has filed such application. Okay. The applicant shall be directed to rectify the defects or incompleteness by resubmitting the application within a period of 15 days of such placing on the website and email. Okay. Of point number 2, just read the last line. Just read from the starting ones. After generation of application number, the central government shall process the application received for allotment of DIN and decide on approval or rejection thereof, and communicate the same to the applicant along with DIN. Means communicate the same. Even if it's approved, then also it will be communicated. If it's rejected, then also communicated along with DIN allotted in case of approval by way of letter by post or electronically or in any other mode within a period of 1 month in this point they are just explaining. First they are saying that application will be processed and it will be decided whether to approve or reject. In this point they are not saying about the rejection thing. They are just saying that if it is approved, then within 1 month from the receipt of application, the it will be communicated to the applicant along with the DIN allotted. Now rejection part, defective part, they are saying in another point. Okay. So if application is found to be defective, if it is incomplete or if it is defective, then it will be communicated to the applicant by placing it on the website. It will place on the website also, and it will be informed to the applicant by way of email. And applicant will be given 15 days time, okay, to rectify the defects. Means will be given 15 days time to resubmit the application by rectifying the defects. Now what happened, it is provided the central government shall reject the application and direct the applicant to file fresh application with complete and correct information where the defect has been rectified partially or the information found is still found to be defective. Now it is the now this will happen, suppose once you file the application, okay, means you have filed form DI3, suppose it is defective or incomplete, then you have been intimated by way of email that it is defective and you have been given 15 days time to rectify it. Now what happens if you rectify the defect? Suppose if you defect which you have rectified, that is partial, means partially you have rectified the defect, or if it is, or if the, and means you have resubmitted the application and the defective is partially rectified, or they still defect in the application, means in the application that is resubmitted they still defect in that application, then what will happen? Then central government will reject the application and direct the applicant to file fresh application with complete and correct information. Now point number 2 is given, it is provided the central government shall treat and label such application as invalid in the electronic record in case the defects are not removed within the given time. You are given 15 days time, that we have studied earlier. You have been given 15 days time to rectify the defect, and if you don't rectify, there are two arrows, means there are two possibilities. If you are given 15 days time to rectify the defect, either you will rectify the defect within 15 days or you will not rectify. So if you will not rectify the defect within 15 days time, then your application will be treated as invalid. But if you rectify the defect within 15 days time, and if everything is okay, then you will be granted, then will be allotted to you. But if you rectify the defect within 15 days, and if it is partially defective, means it is not rectified fully, then central government will direct to file fresh application. Hope it's clear. This procedure, rule 10. You have to remember, you have to file DII3, then it will be allotted within 1 month. These are the procedures that is given in 10. Means once you file DII3, once you make the payment, application number will be generated. Then with the once the application number is generated, then the form will be processed, and then if it is approved, then within 1 month time, then will be allotted to you. And if it is there is some problem in the form, there is some defect or incompleteness in the form, then it will be informed to you by way of email, and you will be given 15 days time to rectify those defects. If it is rectified properly, then it will be allotted to you. If it is not rectified properly, then you will be directed to file fresh application, and if you don't rectify the defect within 15 days, then your application will be treated as invalid. Hope it's clear. Now what they have given in point number C, it is provided the central government shall inform the applicant either by way of letter by post or electronically or in any other mode. So central government shall reject. For point number A we have discussed, point number B we have discussed, and they have given, and it will be informed to the applicant by way of letter by post or electronically or in any other mode. Okay. Now point number 4, procedure number 4. In case of rejection or invalidation of application, the fee so paid with the application shall neither be refunded nor adjusted with any other application. Means in case your application is rejected, what could be the reason for rejection? Rejection reason could be, means if you don't if you don't rectify the defect within 15 days, then your application can be rejected. And another case for rejection could be, another reason for rejection could be if you rectify the defect within the time period, but if you don't rectify properly. So In that case, you'll be directed to file fresh application. Your application won't be rejected. In that case, your application would be rejected only if you don't rectify the defect within 15 days. So means once your application is rejected, the fee that you have paid earlier at the time of filing the application, that fee will neither be refunded nor adjusted with any other application. Now what note they have given? Note number 1 is all DINs, means all DINs allotted to individual or individuals by CG before commencement of these rules shall be deemed to have been allotted to them under these rules. Means before commencement of this rule, when this rule came, this rule 10, if DIN is allotted before this rule, then it will be deemed as DIN allotted to them under these rules. Note number 2, they have given that DIN so allotted under this rules is valid for lifetime of the applicant and shall not be allotted to any other person. It is applicable, it is valid for lifetime and it shall not be allotted to any other person. It is the identification number of that specific applicant. Now in short, they have given procedure for allotment of DIN. On submission of form and fees, application number is generated on the system. This we have done. CG shall process such. Just go through this fast. Just you can read this on your own. Okay, let's just read once. Quickly, just read once. Procedure for allotment of DIN they have given. On submission of form and fees, application number is generated on the system. CG shall process such application. Then what happens? Approval or rejection is communicated to the applicant within 1 month from receipt of such application. This approval rejection is communicated with this we have studied from this point. In point number 2, it was given application rejection will be communicated. If it is approved, then DIN will be allotted within 1 month, and if it is other case, if it is rejected, then what could be the reason for rejection they have discussed in detail in point number 3. That okay. Now they have given in case of approval, DIN allotted will be sent through by post or electronically or in any other manner. In case of defective or incomplete application, CG shall place it on the website and intimate by email to the applicant. Means in case of defective or incomplete application, then direct to rectify the defect or incompleteness by resubmitting the application within 15 days of placing on the website and email. CG shall reject and direct to file fresh application when direction will be given to file fresh application when defect rectified partially or information given is defective. Now in case of non-removal of defect, in case defect is not removed, then treat and label as invalid in electronic records. Inform applicant of rejection, invalidation and no refund or adjustment of paid fees. This is given in short. Okay, hope it's clear. Now prohibition on obtaining more than one DIN. One person can obtain more than one DIN. It is prohibited. According to section 155, no individual who has already been allotted a DIN under section 154 shall apply for, obtain or process another DIN. No individual who has already been allotted a DIN under section 154 shall apply for, obtain or process another DIN. Means once you have been, suppose you have been allotted a DIN under section 54, then you can't apply for another DIN. Okay. Now example number 9, Mr. Tahir was appointed as director in Bombay Textiles Private Limited with DIN this one. Now he wants to be appointed as director in another company. Here Mr. Tahir shall have to use the existing DIN only for appointment as director in new company. He cannot apply for another DIN. Okay. Your DIN is same for all companies. Suppose if you are director in 10 companies, then your DIN will be same in all companies. So DIN will not change according to the number of companies. So if you are director in 10 companies, that doesn't mean you'll be have 10 DINs. You'll be having one DIN only. That will be applicable in case of filing of forms for, in case of compliance work of all companies. Now director to intimate DIN. According to section 156, once you file the application in form DIR 3, then within 1 month of receipt of application, DIN is allotted to you, to the applicant. Now what will happen according to section 156, every existing director shall within 1 month of receipt of DIN from central government intimate his DIN to the company or all the companies where he is a director. Means once you have been allotted a DIN, then within 1 month of the receipt of DIN from central government, you are required to intimate the DIN to the company. Okay, or if you are director in more than one company, then you have to intimate your DIN to all the companies in which you are the director. Now company to inform DIN to registrar. So director will intimate the DIN to intimate his DIN to company, then company will intimate DIN to registrar, that is ROC. According to section 157 subsection 1, every company shall within 15 days of receipt of intimation under section 156 furnish the DIN of all its directors to the ROC or any other officer or authority as may be specified by central government with such fees or additional fees as may be prescribed. Every such intimation shall be furnished in prescribed form and manner. Means once a DIN is allotted within 1 month from the receipt of application, then once when the DIN is received, so within 1 month from the receipt of DIN now, within 1 month from receipt of DIN. So DIN is allotted, remember this properly, within 1 month from the receipt of application, DIN is allotted. Then within 1 month from receipt of DIN, director is required to intimate his DIN to the company. Now what company will do? Company will within 15 days from the receipt of intimation under section 156, company is required to inform the DIN or furnish the DIN of all its directors to ROC, and that will be done via prescribed form and with prescribed fees. Okay, 1 month, 15 days. Now, according to Rule 10A of the Companies Rule 2014, every director functioning as a director in one or more companies on or before 30th June 2007 who has not yet intimated his DIN to such company or companies shall within 1 month of the receipt of DIN from central government intimate his DIN to the company or all companies where he is a director. Means what they have given, every director who is functioning as a director in one or more companies on or before 30th June 2007 June 2007 who has not yet intimated his DIN to the such company. Now see, in the act it was given that director is required to intimate his DIN to the company, and then within 1 month of receipt of DIN, and then the company is required to intimate the DIN to the ROC within 15 days of the receipt of intimation. Now in the act the form was not mentioned, means the format according to which, what is the format in which form director will intimate his DIN and in which form company will intimate DIN to ROC. The form number is prescribed form number is mentioned under the rules. So under Rule 10A it is given that every director functioning as a director in one or more companies on or before 30th June 2007 and who has not yet intimated his DIN to such company or companies shall within 1 month of the receipt of DIN intimate his DIN to the company or all companies wherein he is a director as per form DIR 3B. So director is required to intimate his DIN to the company in form DIR 3B. The intimation by the company of DIN of its director under section 157 shall be furnished in form DIR 3C within 15 days of the receipt of intimation under section 156. Now the company is required to intimate DIN to ROC in form DIR 3C. So director is required to intimate to company in form DIR 3B and company is required to intimate to ROC in form DIR 3C. Now one more thing that should be taken care of, that should be given emphasis in this, is point number 1. See, in point number 1 it is given on or before 30th June 2007. Now one can this question can arise in your mind, why it's given on or before 30th June 2007. It is given because from 1st July 2007 this approved DIN was made mandatory for e-filing. From 1st July 2007 it was made mandatory for e-filing. Before that it was not mandatory. So before that means on or before 30th June 2007 we can say. So on or before 30th June 2007, so every director who is functioning as a director in companies on or before 30th June 2007, and those companies, because before 2007 30th June 2007 DIN was not mandatory, so it may happen that director may not have applied for DIN or has not even if they have applied for DIN, it may happen that they have not intimated his DIN to the company. So because it was not mandatory, so it was not mandatory to obtain DIN, it was not mandatory to intimate DIN. That's why they have given the company, means a director who is functioning as a director in one or more companies on or before 30th June 2007 and who has not yet intimated his DIN, they are required to intimate in form DIR 3B. So DIR 3B is the form for intimation for all directors, means who are functioning before 30th June 2007 or after 30th June 2007. So they have specifically mentioned this date just because before 30th June 2007, on or before 30th June 2007, it was not mandatory, DIN was not made mandatory. This thing you can see from the first line of the section also. See, come to page number, this is page number 12. See, DIN means an identification number allotted by central government to any individual intending to be appointed as director Means din is a number that is allotted to individual who is intending to be appointed as director, means who is not yet appointed as director, whose intention is to get appointed as director, or to any existing director of a company for the purpose of its identification as a director of a company. Now this existing director word, why they have given existing director word? Because as per the provisions what we are studying right now, as per the provision, means first an individual has to apply for din, and once the din is allotted to him, then only he can be appointed as a director. Means before appointment, din is he is mandatory required to obtain the din, but if it's mandatory, if din is to be obtained prior to the appointment, then why they have given that is allotted to existing director? Existing director word is given just because before to 30th June 2007, means before on or before 30th June 2007, this din provision was not made mandatory. So if any person, if any director is appointed as director on or before 30th June 2007, so that person is required to obtain din if it's still director after 30th June 2007, because this this din was made mandatory for e-filing from 4th July 2007. Okay, that's why they have given existing director word over here, and over there in rule 10a, under rule 10a, they have given on or before 30th June 2007. Hope it's clear. Now let's move ahead. We have completed rule 10a. Now punishment for failure to furnish the din to the registrar. According to section 157 subsection 2, if any company fails to furnish the din to the registrar, if the company fails to furnish din to registrar, that is in through form DI 3C, then it shall be liable to a penalty. Means this penalty is for company. Okay, rupees 25,000. And in case of continuing failure, with a further penalty of 100 for each day after the first during which the failure continues, subject to a maximum of 1 lakh. Means 25,000 will be imposed, and if the failure is of continuing nature, then further penalty will be imposed 100 per day, subject to maximum 1 lakh. Further, every defaulting officer of the company shall be liable to a penalty as under. What is the penalty for defaulting officer in this case? In that case, in case of defaulting officer, penalty is minimum penalty is 25,000, and if it's of continuing nature, then further penalty is 100 per day, maximum 1 lakh. Same fine is there. You can just compare 25,000 minimum and further then 100 per day, maximum 1 lakh, maximum 1 lakh. Same. Now obligation to indicate din. According to section 158, every person or company while furnishing any return, information or particulars as are required to be furnished under Companies Act 2013 shall mention the din in such return, information or particulars in case such return, information or particulars relate to director or contain any reference of any director. As we all know that from 1st July 2007, this din is made, approved din is made mandatory for e-filing. That's why any return, information or particulars that is required to be furnished under Companies Act 13, and if it is related to director, then it is necessary, it is must to mention the din of director in such return, information or particulars. So it is obligatory to indicate din. Now as per section 158. Now punishment for contravention of section 152, 155 and 156. See, section 159 provides that if any individual or director of a company makes any default in complying with any of the provisions of section 152, 155 and 156. Now let's see which one is 155, 152, 155 and 156. So 155 is prohibition on obtaining more than one din. See this. 156 is director to intimate din, that is given in 156. The director is required to intimate din. 155 is can't obtain more than one din. Director is not allowed to obtain more than one din, and 152 is appointment of director. So if there is any contravention of any of the sections 152, 155 and 156, so punishment is given in section 159. So what they have given, section 159 provides that if any individual or director of a company makes any default in complying with any of the provisions of 152, 155 and 156, such individual director of the company shall be liable to a penalty as under. What is the penalty? Penalty up to 50,000, and where the default is a continuing one, with the further penalty up to 500 for each day after the first during which such default continues. So minimum penalty is 50,000, and if it's of a continuing nature, then further penalty is 500 per day. Then cancellation or surrender or deactivation and reactivation of DIN. Okay, let's come to this topic. Now, Rule 11 of Companies Rule 2014 lays down the procedure for cancellation or surrender or deactivation and reactivation of DIN as under. So, for this, provisions are given in, this procedure is given in Rule 11. Okay, under rules it's given. So, what is given? The central government or regional director, Northern Region, Noida, or any officer authorized by regional director may, upon being satisfied on verification of particulars or documentary proof attached with the application received along with prescribed fees from any person, cancel or deactivate the DIN in case A, B. Okay, means the central government, as we all know that we have to apply for the for obtaining DIN, application is required to be made in form DIR 3 to the central government. So the central government or the regional director, any officer which is authorized by regional director, means when they receive the application and upon being satisfied and after verifying all the particulars, all the documentary proof, they can cancel or deactivate in case. So when they'll cancel the DIN or when they'll deactivate the DIN in case the DIN is found to be duplicated. In case after verification they found that DIN is duplicated in respect of the same person, provided the data relate to both the DIN shall be merged with the validly retained number. So means if they found that the DIN has already been allotted to the person, and if the DIN will be allotted as per the present form, then there will be duplication of DIN. We know that it's more than one DIN is prohibited. So if the DIN is found to be duplicated in respect of same person, provide the data related to both the DIN shall be merged with the validly retained number. Okay, data will be merged or both related to both the DINs. So in this case, if the DIN is found to be duplicated, then central government or regional director can cancel or deactivate the DIN. Second case is when it can be cancelled or deactivated when the DIN was obtained in a wrongful manner or by fraudulent means. Then, however, before cancellation or deactivation of DIN pursuant to clause B above, an opportunity of being heard should be given to the concerned individual. Before cancellation or deactivation, opportunity of being heard should be given to the concerned individual. For this purpose, what is the meaning of this term? The term wrongful manner means if the DIN is obtained on the strength of documents which are not legally valid, or incomplete documents are furnished, or on suppression of material information, or on basis of wrong certification, or by making misleading or false information, or by misrepresentation. This you all can understand, the documents which are given that are not legally valid, then material information is suppressed, wrong certification, misleading information, false information. So these all means wrongful manner. So if the DIN is obtained on the strength of these documents, on this basis, then it can be said that it is obtained in a wrongful manner, and in that case DIN will be cancelled or deactivated. So the term fraudulent means if the DIN is obtained with the intent to deceive any other person or any authority, including the central government. Okay, if one person is obtaining DIN and the intention behind obtaining DIN is to deceive, is to cheat any other person or any authority, including central government, so that is fraudulent. Okay, intention is fraudulent intention is involved. Okay, now C number point, if the cancel can be cancelled, deactivated, A, B. Then C, third case is on the death of concerned individual. D is the concerned individual has been declared as a person of unsound mind by a competent court, then it can be cancelled or deactivated. Then if the concerned individual has been adjudicated as an insolvent. Point number F is on an application made in form DIR F5 by the DIN holder to surrender. Means application is made in form DIR 3 and this application is made by the DIN holder to the surrender to surrender his or her DIN along with declaration that he has never been appointed as director in company and the said DIN has never been used for filing of any document with any authority. The central government may deactivate such DIN. Okay, in case a DIN holder makes an application in DIR 5 and this application is made with a view to surrender his or her DIN, and one declaration has given that he has obtained the DIN, but he has never been appointed in any company, nor this DIN was used for filing any document to the authority. So in that case, central government may deactivate such DIN. Okay, so there are 6 such cases. One is DIN is found to be duplicated. DIN was obtained in wrongful manner in case of death of individual, in case individual is declared as person of unsound mind, in case individual has been adjudicated as insolvent, in case DIN holder is required to surrender his DIN. Okay. However, before deactivation any DIN in the above case, the central government shall verify e-records. Okay. So in this case, they have given before deactivation. In this case, it's given DIN holder when it's surrender. So, however, before deactivation, central government shall verify the e-records, because in point number F it's given that this DIN was never used for filing any document. So for this it's necessary for the central government to verify the e-records, then only it will be deactivated. So before deactivation, central government shall verify e-records. Now point number 2, the central government or regional director in Northern region or any officer authorized by central government or regional director in Northern region shall deactivate the DIN of an individual who does not intimate his particulars in e-form DIR 3 KYC within the stipulated time in accordance with Rule 12A. Now this DIR 3 KYC form is like a KYC form, like know your customer, like is a proper just KYC form like we used to submit in banks and all. So this is like a KYC form, and this form is mandatory to be filed by director. So if director does not intimate his particulars in form DI 3 KYC within the stipulated time period, then his DIN can be deactivated, and once he files this form again, then his DIN will be deactivated. Now the deactivated DIN shall be deactivated only after e-form DIR 3 is filed along with fee as prescribed in the Companies Rule 2014. And so once this form is filed, then only this will be reactivated. Now intimation of changes in particulars specified in DIN application. If any changes is required to be made in particulars, so this is regarding this rule will specify regarding this. Rule 12 of Companies Rule 2014 provides for the following particulars for intimation of changes in particulars specified in DIN application. Now intimation of changes to central government. Every individual who has been allotted a DIN under this rule shall, in the event of any change in his particulars as stated in form DIR 3, intimate such change or changes to central government within a period of 30 days of such change in form DIR 6 in the following manner. Now when he apply for the DIN, he is required to file DIR 3, and when there is any change in particulars, then he is required to intimate such change to the central government, and the time period for intimation is required to intimate within 30 days of such change, and this intimation is to be made in form DIR 6. So you must remember this form name and the time period in the following manner. What is the manner? Namely, number 1, the applicant, Roman 1, the applicant shall download form DIR 6 from the portal, fill in the relevant changes, verify the form, then attach duly scanned copy of the proof of change particulars and submit electronically. Okay, he'll download, fill in the relevant changes, then verify, then attach the documents and submit electronically. The form shall be digitally signed by chartered accountant in practice or a company secretary in practice or a cost accountant in practice. Okay, either CA or CS or cost accountant. Then the applicant shall submit the form DIR 6. Okay, once everything is done, documents are attached, relevant changes are done, it's verified, signature is attached, then it will be submitted. So in this way, changes can be intimated to the central government. Now applicant to be informed of change in electronic database. The central government, upon being satisfied after verification of such change particulars from the enclosed proofs, shall incorporate the said changes and inform the applicant by way of a letter by post or electronically or in any other mode confirming the effect of such change in the electronic database maintained by the ministry. Now from point number 1, what we have understood, that individuals required to make some changes, and that's why they are intimating to the central government. Now this change particulars is necessary to make the required changes in the electronic database as well. So once these changes are made in the electronic database, central government will intimate this to the applicant by way of letter by post or electronically or in any other mode that that the required changes that you have applied for that changes has been done in the electronic database. Okay, this is a kind of acknowledgement. Now intimation to concerned registrar. Now intimation will be made to the concerned registrar as well. The DIN cell of the ministry shall also intimate the changes in particulars of director submitted to it in form DIR 6. The DIN cell of the ministry shall also intimate the changes in particulars of the director submitted to it in form DIR 6 to the concerned registrar, under whose jurisdiction the register office of the company in which such individual is a director situated. Now intimation is given to concerned registrar also. So the DIN cell of the ministry is required to intimate to the concerned registrar. Concerned registrar means the registrar on whose jurisdiction the register office is situated. Okay, that registrar is required to be intimated. Now individual to inform change in particulars to the company. Okay, first they have said that intimation is to be given to the central government. Then in electronic database changes will be made. Then intimation will be given to the registrar, concerned registrar, by the DIN cell of the ministry. Then company individual is required to inform the change in particulars. Once the change is made in electronic database, then individual is required to inform the change in particulars to the companies. The concerned individual shall also intimate the change or changes in his particulars to the company or companies in which he is a director within 15 days of such change. Not 15, within 15 days of such change. Okay, when the such change is done, within 15 days of such change, individual is required to inform change in particulars to the companies. Okay. Now let us just revise the section 153 to 159 quickly. Then we as all know is an identification number that is allotted to director or to any existing director for the purpose of his identification. DIN includes DPIN. Then application is to be filed for allotment of DIN. Which application? The form DIR 3 is to be filed. Okay, form DIR 3 is to be filed. And one more thing, this before appointment DIN is to be allotted. Means no person shall be appointed as director unless he has been allotted a DIN. So prior to appointment DIN is required. Okay, DIN is to be allotted. Now form DIR 3, as we all know, for application is to be filed in form DIR 3, and in case of proposed director not having DIN, then it can be maximum 3 directors particular can be filed in. It can be filled in form INC 32, that is the incorporation form. Okay, in case of newly incorporated company, means in case directors have not having DIN. Okay, so DIR 3 INC 32. Then in DIR 3 we are required to fill in the required particulars, verify and sign, and set of documents we have to attach. What are those set of documents? Photograph, proof of identity, proof of residence, then board resolution copy, then specimen signature. Okay, and in form DIR 3 shall be signed and submitted by the applicant using his or her ODSC, and it shall be verified digitally by company secretary in full-time employment of the company or managing director or CEO or CFO of the company. Okay, in which applicant is intended to be appointed as director. Then in case a person does not have a last name, then his or her father or grandfather's name will be used, surname shall be used, and in the last name along with the declaration is required in that case in form DIR 3A. Clear? Now DIN will be allotted within 1 month from the receipt of application. In rule 10 it was given that DIR 3 is to be submitted. Entire procedure was given. On submission of DIR 3, application number is generated, then it is processed, then the central government decides whether to allot or reject. Okay, once everything is okay, then it will be allotted within 1 month of receipt of application, and if there is any defect, then defect is to be rectified within 15 days, and if it is rectified, then the DIN will be allotted. But if there is any defect is rectified partially, then applicant will be directed to file the fresh application, and in case defects are not rectified within the given time, then the application will be declared as invalid, and it will be informed to the applicant by way of letter of post or electronically or in any other mode. And in case the application is rejected, then the fees so paid will neither be refunded nor adjusted. Okay, then this is valid. This DIN that is allotted is valid for lifetime and shall not be allotted to any other person. Then there was prohibition on obtaining more than one DIN. Then director is required to intimate DIN within 1 month from the receipt of DIN. Means the director is allotted the DIN means applicant central government allowed the DIN to the applicant within 1 month of the filing of application or the receipt of application, and director is required to intimate the DIN to the company in form DIR 3B, okay, within 1 month of receipt of DIN, and company is required to intimate the DIN to ROC in form DIR 3C within 15 days of the receipt of intimation, okay, DIR 3B 3C. Then what is the punishment to the company where if it's failed to furnish into ROC, then punishment is 25,000, further penalty 100 per day, maximum 1 lakh, and this same penalty is there in case of defaulting officer of the company. Then there is obligation to indicate the DIN in all the returns, information or particulars if those related to director. Then what is the punishment for contravention of section 152, 155 and 156? Penalty is 50,000, and if it's of continuing nature, then 500 per day during which such default continues. What are the provision regarding cancellation, surrender, deactivation of DIN? In this rule 11 is applicable. In under rule 11 it was given that in the following cases the central government can cancel or deactivate the DIN: if the DIN is found to be duplicated, if DIN was obtained in wrongful or fraudulent manner, in case of death of concerned individual, in case concerned individual has been declared as person of unsound mind, if the concerned individual has been adjudicated as insolvent, if application made in form DIR 5, means when the DIN holder surrender his or her DIN in form DIR 5, and in that case DIN can be deactivated, and before deactivation central government shall verify e-records. Then it was also given the central government or the regional director shall deactivate the DIN if the individual fails to intimate his particulars in form DIR 3 KYC within the stipulated time, and it will be deactivated only if the director files such form. Then intimation of change in particulars: if there is any change in particulars, then the individual is required to, the director is required to intimate to the central government within 30 days of such change, and it will be intimated in form DIR 6, and DIR 6 will download from the portal. Then relevant changes will be filled and verified, then digitally sign, and it will be digitally signed by chartered accountant in practice or CS in practice or cost accountant in practice. Then it will be submitted, means applicant shall submit the form, and this applicant to be, means it once he has filed form DIR 6, then it will be the changes will be updated in electronic database, and the same will be intimated to the applicant by way of a letter, by post, or electronically, or in any other mode, and then the intimation will be given to the concerned registrar. The individual is required to intimate to the company or companies in which he is director within 15 days of such change. So this was all about section 153 to 159. Section 153, this was a little bit big section. Okay, so this completes section 153 to 159. Hope this video was useful for you all. If it was beneficial, then do share with your friends and do like my video. Okay, and kindly subscribe my channel if you have not subscribed yet. Okay, you'll get the next video very soon. Okay, we'll proceed with further with the section, this till 159 it's done. In next video you will get the next video very soon, and from 160 we'll study in that video. Okay, so keep studying hard. Bye bye, take care.